I can make a class announcement by clicking here. To organize my classwork, click on Classwork at the top. To create an assignment or an announcement or add material, I can click Create. My assignment types are assignment, quiz assignment, like a test, a question, material, like perhaps a link to a Quizlet set, or I can reuse a post from another class. I can also add topics. Topics are a great way to organize the material for your course. I like to organize my courses by standard or sometimes by activity like bell ringer or other resources. So here I've got a topic called Google Classroom. I can create an assignment. I can add a file from my Google Drive, a link, a file from my hard drive, or a YouTube video from here. I can then assign a point value or select ungraded, put in a due date, even a time that I want it due. I can put in the topic. I can add a rubric here. I can check for originality, in other words, duplicate submissions here. And that looks for plagiarism, comparing it with web pages, comparing it with other student work. I can create a rubric or reuse a rubric or import a rubric from Sheets here. If you have a rubric in, for example, a Microsoft Office spreadsheet, then you can import it as well by importing it as a sheet first. So click Create Rubric. I can put in the title, explain the rubric, put in the point value, add different items here, click Save. And then click Assign at the top, and that assigns that to my students. I can create a discussion question, and this is how a lot of the courses I took at Florida worked. You would have one discussion question a week to answer. You would answer the question and then reply to 2 peers' responses in your class. And if I had a file I want to include from my Google Drive, I can click there. And I can add this document. I could add a YouTube video, I could upload a file, or link to information on the internet. And then ask the question. Material could be a link, for example, to a Quizlet set. So I copy and paste the address. I go here to add, link, copy. Here I could create a new doc, slide, sheet, drawing, or forms. I could create a new topic right there. I can also create a quiz assignment. And you can do this as a test or a survey, depending on how you set it up. You can make it ungraded for a survey. To actually create the quiz, you would go here to blank quiz, click here. Let's open up Google Forms. And you can copy and paste the title over here. Put in a description. Put in last name. It automatically turns it to short answer and assigns 0 points. Make it required. To add another question, click Add Question. I'll then put in first name. Drop it to 0. It automatically make it 1 point. You want it to be 0 points, obviously, for a name. And click Done. Why I'm due first and last name separately, so when you export the results to a spreadsheet, you can sort them by last name, so in the same order that they would be in iNow. Just in case I accidentally share the same test with 2 different classes, which you can do, I like to make sure that I know which class the student is in so I can sort the results by class, since that's the way I enter the results into iNow. An easy way to do that is to go to linear scale, choose this as type of question. You put in 1 to 8, put in class period, drop the score to 0 points, click Done. And then I like to put in a question about is it a makeup test or a retest and so forth. You can reuse questions from previous tests. So I go here to import questions. And I can go back to one of my other tests I've written. And I'll go to select one here. I'm also going to reuse my testing procedure questions. And then I will import these questions into the test. I'm left with an extra question I don't need here. To get rid of a question, go to the trash can and click Delete. I like to ask this question, is this a regular test, a makeup test, or a retest? I can sort things that way and see all the makeup tests in the spreadsheet when I'm done. And there's testing procedure. I have students sign off that they have read the testing procedures and that they agree to them. Click on the bottom question here and let's add a new section. Sections help organize the test because the test will randomize, and if I don't do that, they might be putting on their name or their class period somewhere in the middle of the test. I like to organize it by sections. Here I can have an objective question section. And these would be questions like multiple choice. Checkbox or other non-written responses. And then I click plus. Put in a question. Put in my responses. And you can keep adding responses here, put in as many as you'd like. I can assign a point value, and I can put in the correct response here. If you don't mark a correct response, it will mark all students wrong on the question. Click done. I usually go here to the three dots, click here, tell it to shuffle option order, and then I can add another section after I put in all my questions here. I could put in another section. Let me show you how to do another type of question. We'll put in a checkbox question. And I can change it to checkboxes. And then I go to answer key, check off the correct responses, assign a point value, and it's all or nothing. It's not 4 points each, it's 4 points for the whole question. If they don't get these two right, or if they check either one of these two, they miss the entire question. Click done and shuffle the option order. I can also make a drop-down menu, which works like a multiple choice. I seldom use this, but you can. I can put in the options. I can set this up as a right-wrong question, or I can just make it a survey question by dropping the point value to 0. I can put in answer feedback for incorrect or correct answers. I can also add images. I could go into Google Drive, for example, find a picture, add the picture, and click Insert. they'll add it as a by itself. I can then make questions about the picture. I could put a video in that students would watch. I've done that with a political ad before when students were analyzing attack ads for government. I can put a title and description. I can import questions like I showed you before. Let's add a section, written section. And students can move back to previous sections. Add a question. Assign points. I can duplicate questions and then change it up a little bit. And there's my test. Some useful options. I like to collect email addresses, always. Give response receipts so students can look back and tell if they submitted it correctly. If there's a question, did I really hit the submit button? They can know. I usually limit test to one response when I first give it, and then I will open that back up when I'm ready to give retest. Don't click edit after submit unless you want students to be able to change their answers after they've taken the test, which you might in some cases, but I seldom use that. You can have students look at summary charts and text responses. For presentation, you can click show progress bar. I usually do so students can see how far along they are. It helps them work, time their responses. You can shuffle question order. I like to do that so students can't go through and look at another screen and see where that student's at and be on a similar place and maybe see their answer. I usually don't click show link to submit another response. Confirmation message by default is your response has been recorded. You could put something else in. Save it. And then you can go to quizzes. If you click this off, it's a survey. If you click it on, it's going to be a test that auto-grades the questions that can be auto-graded, like multiple choice. I usually turn on the locked mode, so students can't open other tabs or applications while they're taking the quiz to help limit the possibility of cheating. Release grade. If you're grading written work, I would probably click later after manual review. Otherwise, they're going to immediately get feedback on all the multiple choice questions, but they'll see a low score because it won't include any points for the written response. You can decide whether or not they should be able to see the missed questions, see the correct answers, the point values for the questions, and so forth. You can decide if you want them to see all of that. And you click save when you're done. You'll see the responses here. And it's really useful to go to this button, Create Spreadsheet. Create a new spreadsheet with all the responses. And then go to last name, click right here on this arrow, and then click Sort Sheet A to Z, so the responses come in and you can see them in the order they're going to be in your grade book. You can move your quiz to a folder. You can star it to make it a favorite if you need to look back at it later and make it easy to find. You can move sections around. For example, if I wanted to move my written questions up, move section, and then I go here and I can bump it up ahead of the objective section. I could also merge sections together if I didn't want the testing procedure on a separate page from the initial part here. Then I can go in and merge with above. It'll merge those sections together. Although when I do that, I lose the descriptive information I had in that section. So that's probably not going to be something I would really do. If you have any questions about Google Classroom, please feel free to contact me. My email address is pablankenship@dothan.k12.al.us. I plan to monitor that. And I can also do FaceTime or screen sharing if we need to show you what you need to do for Google Classroom. All right, good luck, be safe, wash your hands.